Welcome to Responsive Health and Insurance Brokers. Responsive has been operating as an insurance broker for the last 20 years, since its establishment in 1999. We take pride in our employees' expertise and loyalty, which makes Responsive to what it is today. Responsive powers your business, powers your people. The difference between respond and react is as different as night and day. Responsive believes in preparing for the future, ensuring that when emergencies arise, our clients are ready and protected, and able to move forward with security and confidence. This is the guiding principle of Responsive's president and chairman, Ms. Tess Rodriguez, a pioneer in the HMO and health insurance industry. Responsive provides expert advice and administrative support for your employee benefits and tailor-fit your programs within your budget. Responsive is recognized for its various service offerings in both medical and non-medical services. We assure our business partners excellent and comprehensive representation with service providers in all aspects of research, evaluation, and negotiation. With over 20 years in the industry, we have built a strong network of service providers to look for viable solutions for your insurance and health plan needs. Responsive support your employee retention strategy. We offer comprehensive employee benefits packages to attract and retain the most important assets of any organization, your employees. We work with a wide network of HMO and group medical plan providers to protect your employees from various health risks. Our health programs enable your employees to be productive. We collaborate with you to protect your business from any type of risk, whether man-made risk or natural calamities. We will help you find insurance solutions so your business is ready for any emergency. We provide expert customer and administrative services to our business partners, including our pioneering efforts to provide comprehensive benefit management reports, information videos, and lifestyle feeds. Responsive's health and wellness advocacy is enshrined in its culture of providing the best health plans for its clients. Bespoke Wellness Providers, a fully owned subsidiary of Responsive, aims to provide proactive wellness programs to the employees. We innovate to provide you more time to manage your core business. We are automating your core processes through the client portal. With an average of 99% client retention rate over the last 10 years, Responsive takes pride in providing consistent quality services to our clients across all industries. We are committed to provide our services and find proactive solutions to your business requirements. Responsive Health Insurance Brokers is here to support your business. Contact us anytime. Our main office is located at 14th floor Medical Plaza Condominium, Ortigas, Pasig City. You can reach us through our contact numbers and our social media accounts.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Responsive Health and Insurance Brokers. We are very honored by your presence in our first webinar entitled Optimum Health Under the New Normal. Today, we will provide you meaningful discussions on holistic concepts and new perspectives in managing your health, get you motivated, and maximize your life as we face the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. We will also discuss the psychosocial factors faced by employees in trying to get a sense of work-life balance under this pandemic. Before we start our webinar, please join us in a short invocation to be led by our responsive Business Development Officer, Ms. Leah Mamuyak.
Let us put ourselves in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together at this time of COVID-19 pandemic through this webinar. Father God, may this activity become a useful venue to teach and inform our business clients and the general public about the importance of health and wellness. We pray, God, for the leaders of our company and the participants of this webinar, and let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. O God, our strength and our Redeemer. These we ask in the precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Leah, for your very meaningful invocation. At this point, I would like to introduce to you the moving force and the inspiration behind our company. Please welcome the President of Responsive Health and Insurance Brokers, Ms. Tess Rodriguez, for her welcome message. Take it away, Tess.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to all. COVID-19 has taken us by storm. Truth is, most of us are still reeling from its effects. And all we can do is to invoke positivity by making lemonade out of lemons. At Responsive, it is another opportunity for us to respond. Health and wellness have always been our strongest advocacy. When an insurance broker nor an insurance company prioritized this value, Responsive, together with its sister company, Bespoke Wellness Providers, had already put it at the forefront of its services and painstakingly paved the way for our business partners to work with us in getting the message across. Now, we see ads on wellness wherever we go and look. Fast forward to today, we are honored to have all of you with us in raising our advocacy to the next level as our response to COVID-19's ill intent. This gave birth to Mango Wellness Ecosystem. Mango hopes to deliver to our business partners sustainable, need-based, customized, and structured wellness services under one ecosystem. As we enter the new normal, we request you, our dear friends, to help us build a community of like-minded individuals who value and prioritize health and wellness, starting off with our first installment of a highly relevant webinar series with title, Optimum Health Under the New Normal. More importantly, we offer this initiative to all of you, our most valued business partners, as our way of expressing our deep gratitude for trusting and supporting us all these years. I hope you will find the talk today insightful and share the learning with your respective communities as we look forward to having you with us in our upcoming webinars. Thank you very much and enjoy the session.
Thank you, Tess, for your very inspiring message. I'm sure your message has given our attendees your vision and the bigger picture of what Responsive intends to achieve with our webinar series. We will now start the webinar. I have the honor of introducing to you our distinguished speaker for today, Dr. Queen Angeli Onrubia Berries. Our speaker is currently the President, CEO of ExactMed Incorporated, Gene Sequencing Analysis Center and Medical Clinic. She completed her Human Genomics Specialization course from Integrative Pharmacogenomics Institute, University Technology Mara in Malaysia. Dr. Beris finished her occupational medicine degree from the Philippine College of Occupational Medicine. A graduate of Doctor of Medicine from the University of Santo Tomas, she finished her postgraduate medical internship from the Hospital ng Makati. Dr. Beris is an experienced medical lecturer, speaker, and trainer for various seminars and workshops, which she conducted for many corporate clients across different industries. She also held positions as occupational health physician for many companies over the years. She is currently a member of the Philippine Medical Association, Pasay Parañaque Medical Society. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Queen Angeli Onrubia Beris. Take it away, Dr. Beris.
Thank you so much, Miss Ida, for a very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is safe and everybody is in best shape at this time. Okay, but before I start, let me share first my slides for you. Okay. So we entitled this introductory webinar, Optimum Health Under the New Normal. I stated it as an introductory seminar because this session, this afternoon session, would basically give us the gateway to different perspectives on how we look at health. And this will open us chances for us to look deeper and look beyond the box when it comes to health. Okay, so why do we feel the need to think about and look at health in a very advanced and a very wide way? Basically, at this time of the pandemic, wherein a lot of changes has been happening, a lot of uncertainties and unknown are being faced by us. Our only weapon, and as of this time, our most potent weapon against this, to finally win over this pandemic, is basically us, our health. With the uncertainties in the treatment and prevention of COVID-19 as of this time, we would rely basically on our body, on our mind, and on our system to actually fight over it. That's why Responsive has felt that need to share with you this knowledge and information that I will be imparting to you this afternoon. Okay, so we designed this webinar as actually as a course. As I have mentioned, this first session is just an introduction, just to open the door for you. But the succeeding sessions that we're gonna have will be tackling in detail so that we would have that sufficient information and sufficient knowledge so we would be able to obtain that optimum health that we badly need at this time. So to start off, let me introduce to you the different concepts of health. Starting off with the basic concept of health, which is the absence of any disease or impairment. When we talk about the concept of health, I usually tell patients to answer 3 questions. The first question is, are you healthy? The first concept of health basically answers this question. Do you have a disease or not? Are your systems, your body systems functioning well or not? Is your nutrition proper? Are your organs disease-free and functioning well? So that's the basic concept of health. But most of the time, we content ourselves to the concept that if we do not feel ill, or we do not feel weak, and we do not feel sick, we assume that we are healthy. Because that is just the basic concept that we have been taught of since we were little. So most of the time, our culture here in the Philippines, in our practice here, if you don't feel ill, you don't have to go to your doctor. You don't see your doctor. If you don't, if you feel that you're okay, if you can still do your job, if you can still do your chores at home, then we content ourselves with that. Until the point that we feel something, that we complain on something, that's the time we try to check and look into our health status. No? So ito lang yung mga panahon na you'll go see your doctor, have your tests, your laboratories, no? Papa-check up tayo, and then just to check, do I have the disease or not? I'm not saying this is a bad concept. I am just saying that this basic concept is actually just insufficient. It doesn't mean that you don't feel ill, that you think you are not sick, that it is already okay, that you have to be contented with that. Because health, health is beyond what we just feel. Okay, the potentials of our health, the potentials of our body and all our body systems is going way beyond what we just feel at the current time. Okay, that goes to the second question that we need to answer when it comes to concepts of health. Are you healthy enough? Kung yung unang question natin is, are you healthy? Are you sick or not? The second level of question is, are you healthy enough? Could you actually function? And there are two things, when we say function, there are two things to consider. Our body functioning and our being functioning. Okay? When we say our body functioning, it means that you don't have currently the sickness, that you feel strong, that you could actually eat, you could wake up, you do not have fever, there are no pains, no aches. Okay? So that's the first, being well. The second is going out of your body is actually your interactions. Interactions with your challenges, interactions with your jobs, interactions with the people around you. You need to establish a coping mechanism and an effective coping system to be able to function well beyond your body. So aside from having a healthy body, here comes in of having a healthy mind, in which, in the properties of having a healthy mind, coping up with the daily stresses of life is an important factor. Because without that, we cannot say and we cannot state that you are actually healthy. Okay, so on the second concept of health, it means that it's not enough that you do not have the disease. It is also important that you can function. Even if the body is strong, if the mind is not, then you cannot still function properly. Okay, so that is the second level of concept of health. But then it doesn't stop just from your body and from your mind and just doing your job and doing your chores. Okay, always remember that we are part of a society. We are part of a community, and all actions that we do impacts the society, and the society system impacts us as well. So this brings us to the third level in the concept of health, which answers the question, aside from are you healthy, are you not sick or not, are you healthy enough, can you function well, and the third is, can you maximize all the potentials of your being, given that you have that physical health, you have that mental health, and you have the society that you have to move around. Okay, so that brings us to the third level of health, living well and maximizing that living. So it's not enough that you're just okay. It's not enough that you just do your job. You ask yourself, what can I do more? What can my body do more? What can my mind do more? What can the society and the community that I belong to can do more? With that, having that ideal system and interaction and that dynamics from the self to the mind to the society, then we could say you are really healthy. Okay, so again, let me stress that please be not contented on the concept that you are not just sick. Obtaining optimum health is basically aiming to maximize the potential of your being within yourself, within your mind, and with the interaction that you have to the society around you. So, like in this current situation, okay, we have the pandemic, we have the COVID-19, we have a lot of changes. We need to adapt to a lot of changes. We have the what we so-called new normal. So the third concept of health is very, very much needed at this time to be able to actually cope with the changing times that we have. And again, we do have a dramatic change in time at this current situation. We need to focus on our own health. We need to focus on our work, on our family, on how we manage our time, how we manage our career, how we balance, no? Being healthy, being individually healthy, and being healthy as an organization, as a company, and as a society. Okay, so this whole webinar course hopefully would guide you on how to achieve all these facets of health, so that at the end of this webinar course, we would be leveling up in terms of health management, not just perspective of health, but in health management as well. There are a lot of things that we hear about, especially at this high technology era, where we are bombarded with a lot of informations, of facts, and myths as well. Most of the time, we are having difficulty of delineating which ones are true, which ones are not. One sector would say this is what's best for you, another sector would say no, this is what's best for you. So we do have a lot of myths and facts that we encounter every day. I will be showing you some of it, okay, just to show you how vast these myths and facts are and how this actually affects our personal health management, on how we take care of ourselves and how we take care of our employees. No? So for example, on the left part of our screen, you would see some myths and facts about nutritional supplements. Nowadays, during the COVID pandemic, a lot of us are hoarding a lot of supplements, nutritional supplements, plainly because we want to protect ourselves. But the question is, are you really taking the right supplements, or do you really need those supplements? Okay, so these are just sample myths and facts. Like for example, the supplements can help prevent or manage conditions like diabetes or heart disease. Okay, so if, as we know, the diabetes and the heart disease, specifically hypertension, is actually included in the guidelines of the AITF regarding the highly vulnerable patients for the COVID-19. Most of these patients are the ones that are more likely to develop the severe manifestation of the COVID-19. So the tendency for us is to take supplements to actually control it or aim to cure it. But supplements are not designed to actually cure diabetes or heart disease. It might help prevent the development of these diseases, but it is not cure. So if you are already diabetic or you are already hypertensive, taking the supplements would not take that away. You have your maintenance medication to actually control it, but the supplements would actually aid you to prevent the development of these diseases. No. So another sample of a myth is when you hear a nutrient that has new proven health benefits, it's time to stock up. Usong-uso po sa atin ngayon that we hoard a lot of supplements. okay, because the demands are quite high right now. But the thing is, are you hoarding the right supplement for you? When you read in your social media that, for example, vitamin C is good to boost your immune system, are you sure that that type of vitamin C is good for you or appropriate for you? So the point here is you have to know your status first. You have to assess your health status first before a particular supplement could be declared appropriate for you or not. So hoarding is actually not encouraged. Okay, so another example is multiple single source supplements are better than multivitamins. So depending on the supplements, okay, if you are a healthy individual and you eat a balanced diet, you practically get most of your nutrition on your diet, you don't need much load of supplements. A simple multivitamin is actually enough for you, unless you are proven to be deficient on certain vitamins and minerals, or you are predisposed to deficiency, then we encourage particular and specific supplements for specific patients. Okay. Another sample is the best supplements are those labeled all natural. Most of the time, it does not matter if it is all natural or not. What matters is that it is appropriate for you or not. Okay, so some of us would actually opt to go to the all natural supplement stores wherein the prices are really quite high, but maybe you are just spending too much to something that is not really that significant. Okay, so the point here is on this myths and facts on nutritional supplements is you should know first, specifically, precisely, your health status before taking any supplements. Okay, so another example of myths and facts are with water. Some informations would tell us that 8 ounces a day is actually ideal, which means that's 1 ml of calorie burned is standard. Okay, but this goes not for everyone. Depending on the temperature that you have, on the activities that you do, okay, the status of dehydration and hydration that you're into, that's where we could determine the amount of water that you need. Another myth is only drink when you are thirsty. For everyone's information, being thirsty is the body's signal that you are already dehydrated. So you have to drink even before you are thirsty. Okay. Another sample is there's no such thing as drinking too much water, that you can drink as much water as you could, which is basically not true, because we have what we call a condition that is overhydration, which is potentially fatal as well. Okay. Drinking cold water boosts your metabolism. In other informations, they say drinking warm water boosts your metabolism. But the real fact is, it doesn't matter what the temperature of the water is. What's important is that you are hydrated, sufficiently hydrated, because if you are dehydrated, your metabolism goes down. Okay? Drinking several glasses of water before bed speeds up your metabolism, which basically not true, because when you drink a lot of too much water before you sleep, you would actually disturb your sleep, because most of your body system will process the water and then interrupt you in the middle of your sleep. Okay, so these are other myths and facts, like if you eat less, you will lose weight. But the truth is, only a person who eats 5 or 6 times a day will lose weight. The more you eat, as long as it is in small quantity and it is balanced, would actually boost your metabolism. So if you starve yourself, like for example, the other myth listed here, not eating after 6 p.m. would actually not help you lose weight. because remember that the body is highly adaptive. So if you starve yourself for a long period of time, the next time that you eat, the tendency is you will eat in higher volume, and your body will signal itself to store more energy, because your body would know that the next you will eat will be after long hours again. Okay. There are other myths like use of olive oil, meaning it has low calories, which is not true. It's still oil. It still has a high calorie content. It's just that most people would metabolize olive oil better, and the type of fat that the olive oil has is unsaturated, which is relatively healthy. But it doesn't mean that if you eat a lot of olive oil, that is actually good for you. Okay. um, the way we see fruits as something that is healthy, and we perceive fruit as a dessert. But did you know that fruit is better to be eaten as a snack than a dessert? Because you maximize the glycemic index, no, the utilization of the glycemic index of a fruit if you use it as a dessert rather than as a snack. Okay. And and other okay and other myths, like myths and facts on mental health, like children don't experience mental health problem. There are a number of psychiatric conditions, mental disorders that are more prominent in children than in adults. Okay, so depending on the situation, depending on the age, and depending on the vulnerability and genetic makeup of a person, that makes them vulnerable to a mental disorder, regardless if you are a child, if you are an adult, or if you are in advanced age. Particular psychiatric disorders are more rampant in particular age groups. Okay. So another myth is that people with mental health problems are violent and unpredictable, which is not necessarily true all the time. Yes, there are some people or some patients with mental disorders that could be violent and unpredictable, but most of them are actually highly functional. As a matter of fact, most of them, you cannot even distinguish if they do have the disorder or not until you assess closely the patient. Okay, so these are other myths and facts about mental disorders and mental states. Okay, you could see here that it's a mental disorder is not as rare as you think it is. Okay, usually the mental health problem affects about 1 in every 4 person, okay, that you actually meet every day. No? If you think you do not know somebody who has a mental disorder, most probably you have already met someone who has a mental disorder. Okay, if you think a patient with mental disorder would have no hope in functioning well in the society, that is not true, because they could actually excel in the society despite having the mental disorder. Okay, and the most for me, the most important myth and fact that we have to understand is that the general guidelines in medicine, in health management, is usually used, if you look at the left side of the screen, is usually used for the majority, is designed for the majority of the population. That's why a lot of us has this idea that what is applicable to one patient could be applicable to everyone. No, it's actually part of the Filipino culture. If a doctor prescribes, for example, an antihypertensive med to this patient, and it became effective for that patient and safe for that patient would actually recommend it to somebody, to a friend or to a relative. No? Binigay sa akin ni doktor, effective. Okay, naging normal ang blood pressure ko. Try mo to. Which is a big, big no in the concept of health. Because all of us, we might be 99% similar as human beings, but the 1% difference among all human beings is actually very, very significant. That one medication could be applicable to one patient and effective and safe to one patient, but highly dangerous or not effective at all to another. So this concept of looking at different patients, no, is what we call, or emerging now as what we call, the precision medicine, the practice of precision medicine or personalized medicine. That we manage patients according to that individual, not just because it is the general guidelines for health management. Okay, as we go through this webinar course, you will be knowing more of what I am talking about on how we actually personalize and customize the management of patients. Even in the diagnostic and monitoring procedures that we do, one laboratory might be appropriate for one patient and not to another. No? If you are in a company, you might be spending a lot of money to utilities for your laboratories and tests for people that doesn't actually need them, and miss some tests that some of your employees actually need. Okay, so later on, as we discuss through this webinar course, you would be learning more on how to look at it, on how to look at your employees in terms of health management as unique and different individual. This actually is one of the most important key in obtaining the optimum health, and how you effectively manage patients, and even how you effectively manage yourself. No, not assuming that what fits to one person would also fit you. Yun yung tinatawag nating one size fits all. That's the traditional concept of health management. So, tuturuan ko kayo as we go through our series of webinars na hindi ganon, hindi dapat ganon. Okay? Even in how you design the program, the health program of your employees, it has to be customized. It's not supposed to be generalized, because you would be, most probably if you do that, you would be wasting resources, you would be wasting potentials, and you could actually endanger patients or employees that you have. Okay. Now, knowing this major concepts, this new concepts on how we look at health, the first step on actually obtaining the optimum health that we want, that we really want, is setting your health goal. Ano ba talaga ang gusto nyong goal when it comes to your health? Okay, so again, I have during my research, okay, I have come up with different articles on how to set your health goals. No, according to the Flourish Yoga, this is a company on wellness. They provided 3 questions to find your true health, and I find these 3 questions highly applicable in obtaining your optimum health. So what are these 3 questions? One is, why do you want to be healthier? You have to know, why do you want to be healthier? What is the purpose of your health? Because you want to survive, you want to live longer, you want to be there for your family, for the people who needs you. Okay, maybe you want to be healthier because you want to do more. You want to be healthier because you want to maximize the potential of your person. Okay, so you have to establish that in being able to know your real health goal. No? So you know that you have to know the reason why you want to be healthy. Second is, what actually do you want to obtain? Okay, do you want to obtain the basic concept of health, of just not having the disease? Do you want to function well, or do you actually want to maximize your life? Okay, so you need to determine that in basically setting your health goal. And the third question is, who do you want to be? As I have mentioned earlier, that we are part of a community and of a society. The third question would actually, if you answer this, would actually help us determine what role you want to assume in that society. So if you know that role that you want to assume in the society, then you would be able to determine what are the things that you need to achieve that role. From having a healthy body, from having a healthy mind, from discovering your full potential, and to actually maximizing your whole lifespan. Okay? So when we try to answer these three questions, that would help us determine what type of health goal do we really want. So flash on your screen are the three health goals that we usually have. We have the health and survival. We have the being functional. And third is maximizing your life. So the health and survival is the basic concept of health. So if your health goal is actually to just not have the disease and feel well and strong and be able to live, then that is your basic health goal, just to survive. Regardless if your survival is highly functional or survival is maximizing your person. Basta hindi ka lang magkakasakit, hindi ka mapuputulan ng kamay, ng paa, hindi ka mabubulag, hindi ka mabibingi, no? Hindi ka magkakasakit sa atay, sa puso, sa bituka. Basically, just survive, then that is just the basic health goal. So, we go back to the first question. Why do you want to be healthy? Is it because you just want to survive? If your answer is yes, then that is just your health goal. Just survive. Think of the things that would help you prevent to be sick and just to feel well. Okay? Now, if we go to the next health goal, which is to be functional, then you need to be able to determine how to make your body healthy, okay? To be able to be healthy and survive and not have the disease, and how to actually sustain a good mental state. Why? Because sustaining a good mental state would make you functional. Because again, as I have stated, even though you are physically healthy, if your mind is not in a good mental state, your function will be impaired. So if your health goal is to be functional, to actually be able to provide for your family, to do your job as an employee, to take care of the people around you, to do your chores, then you need meaning you have to take care of your body and you have to take care of your mind. So when you set this goal, you have to set the plan on how to take care of both the body and the mind. But if you won't be contented on these two health goals, you want to be able to do more and to explore the potentials of your being, then you need to set the third kind of health goal, which is maximizing your life. Being able to put the best quality of living in your life, at the same time maximizing the lifespan that you are given. Okay. Just to remind everyone, when you are born, your lifespan is actually predetermined already by your genes. With the advanced technology, when I studied in Malaysia, I've come to know that through genetics, we can actually determine your maximum lifespan. That whether you like it or not, your cells would actually stop functioning at this particular lifespan. Okay, so for this third health goal, the aim is to actually maximize that lifespan. For example, genetically speaking, if your lifespan is 100 years, because of your exposures, your lifestyles, and other factors that I will be explaining later, okay, this lifespan of yours is becoming shorter and shorter until the time that the rate of the shortening of your lifespan meets your actual expiration. So for example, at the age of 60, you develop a heart disease, and then eventually at the age of 65, you died and expired instead of actually be living up to 100 years old. So later on, we would be able to know the different health determinants and health factors that actually dictates up to how much of your lifespan are you gonna use. So if your goal is to maximize your life, you are supposed to know these factors and to know the interventions that you could do to be able to maximize the lifespan that you are determined to. Okay, so hindi na lang siya natatapos sa hindi ka lang nagkakasakit at hindi ka lang nagfa-function. Because your function and your body health, your physical health, no, has to coincide and contribute to how much the cells in your body would actually maximize their lifespan as well. So for example, even primarily, but if you are stressed too much and you are subjected to toxic levels of stress, eventually you will develop diseases and disorders that could potentially shorten your lifespan. So on the third health goal, which is maximizing your life, the key here is to be able to determine the factors that contributes in maximizing your life and doing the interventions that you could do. Okay? So in turn, you will be achieving the maximal lifespan that you are given to. No? So yun yung goal natin, malaman. No? We cannot just rely on what you feel. We cannot just rely on not having the disease. No? Kailangan alam mo ang ano ba yung magko-contribute para maging ultimately or optimally healthy ka. That is how we achieve optimum health. If you browse through the internet, you will be encountering a lot of health factors. No? So these are just samples. So you have your genetics, you have your nutrition, your lifestyle, your environment, the type of medical care that you are being given. No? You have your social and individual determinants, environmental determinants, personal determinants, your lifestyle determinants. Okay? From being an individual, being a biological being, an organism, to a person with mental health, to a person with psychological needs, no? Lalabas yan to being a person as a part of a society, no? On your actions impact the society and how the society actually affects, no? So papasok dito na kung maganda ang sistema ng society mo, for example, your workplace, if your workplace has a good and conducive, healthy environment for you, both physically and psychologically, okay? No? So, yan lahat yung ating mga factors. These are the health determinants that you actually need to know, okay? Para malaman natin, because if you see all these things, it's quite overwhelming. Sa dami ng kailangan mong i-consider to be able to have the optimum health. It's quite overwhelming. So what I did is I came up with the mathematics of health. So I made a formula with regards to health so that it would simplify the things and the factors that we have, and from this we would be able to plan health that we want, the health goal that we want to achieve. No? So if you could remember your basic algebra when you were in high school, this is what I formulated as the mathematics of health. No, it states that L times A plus B plus C is congruent to X. Okay, so Dr. ano yan? No, medyo nakakalito. Ayaw ko pong bumalik sa math. No, math is one of the most evaded subjects when we were studying. But this is a very simple math. No, this mathematical sentence would actually help us to know how to determine X, where A and B is actually variables and C is constant. Ano ba yung X, ano yung A, yung B, yung C, at ano yung L? Okay. A is the physical and lifestyle factors and determinants. So ito yung mga things that we do that makes our physical health in good condition. Nandyan yung ating nutrition. Let me show you. Your age, no, your diet and nutrition, your personal habits, your good safety practices, your exercise, the quality of sleep that you have, your personal health and disabilities, if you were born with disabilities, the type of health monitoring that you do, the checkups that you do, the timing where you see your doctors, the laboratories that you subject yourself into, the diagnosis that physicians make, your health condition, the diseases that you have, you had, and you will have, and even the injuries, the treatments, and the management that you went through. No? So yun yung A, yung physical, at saka yung lifestyle. This actually is the one that answers the basic concept, being sick or not sick. Ito yung mga factors that affects you. The factors that makes you sick, the factors that makes you healthy. Okay? And A is a variable. Kasi iba-iba tayo. Iba-iba tayo ng lifestyle, iba-iba tayo ng age, iba-iba tayo ng diet, ng exercise. Some has exercise, some has none. No? Iba-iba ang kinakain, iba-iba ang pinapacheck up. So this is actually very variable. B, on the other hand, is your psychosocial and environmental determinants. No? Nandito pumapasok yung ating mental health and stress management, no? The social dynamics and adaptations, which is very, very relevant at this time that we are entering the new normal. Basically, our July session will be talking about in detail the social dynamics and adaptations that we need towards the new normal. No? Yung klase ng sistema ng workplace, ng community, sa bahay, no, to be able to sustain sound mental state, to manage the stress that we have right now, to be able to prevent having toxic levels of stress. So dyan pumapasok yan. Your living and working conditions, okay? Both the physical environment and the social environment comes in dun sa ating B. Your work-life balance. It is important for you to be able to know that hindi kailangang two sides ang work-life balance. It's actually a cycle, an infinite cycle, that work supposedly benefits from life and life fuels work. Okay? Nandiyan yung ating education, the right knowledge that we acquire when it comes to our health, to managing our health, the physical environment, and the culture. No? Our culture plays a big role in determining these factors for psychosocial and environmental when it comes to health. May mga cultural practices tayo that might be detrimental to achieving optimum health, but we also have cultures and practices na beneficial and would help us obtain the optimum health. Of course, dito rin papasok yung socio-economic factors, your financial stability, the healthcare delivery system, no? Yung healthcare determinants natin, how effective is your healthcare delivery system to be able to benefit and make use of the healthcare na kailangan mo, no? And again, these are also variables. Different people are exposed to different psychosocial and environmental factors. Okay? Next is C, which is genetics. Among all the parts of our mathematics, of our health mathematics, it is C which is constant. Pag pinanganak tayo, your genes, your set of genes is constant. Yan na yun. Pinanganak ka na ganyan ang set of genes mo. Kanina I mentioned that 99%, all human beings around the world are 99% the same, genetically speaking. Okay, we are 99% the same. But the 1% difference between all human beings is such a significant difference. This brings about the uniqueness of an individual, genetically speaking. Kaya may Caucasian, no? May Asians, may Africans, merong mataba, merong payat, no? Merong magaling sa ganitong sports, merong matalino, so that 1% actually determines who you are, genetically speaking. And that is constant. Okay? So, dito sa genetics, yung ating C, we can already predetermine lifespan. Although, of course, we don't do that, no? But the genes could actually determine your lifespan, your L. Okay? Dito sa genetics, malalaman nyo yung genetics and genomics, no? The nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics, meaning what your genes, the type of genes that you have do to your nutrition, and how your nutrition actually affects the manifestation of your genes. Your pharmacogenomics and pharmacogenetics. So it's basically the same as nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. Ang difference lang is with the medications that we actually take. That's why makikita natin na bakit itong gamot na to sa kanya effective, sa akin hindi. Sa kanya safe, sa akin hindi. No? So this is actually determined through pharmacogenetics and pharmacogenomics. We have a genetic predisposition to diseases. Pag pinanganak ka, you already have predisposition to particular genetic diseases. Malalaman mo na yun kahit wala pa yung sakit. Pag tinignan ng genes mo, pag sinequence ang genes mo, makikita natin yon. If you have the genes for cancer, you have the genes for Alzheimer, you have the genes for diabetes, for hypertension, if you have the genes for rare diseases, even for psychiatric diseases like depression, bipolarity, nakikita na yan sa genes. Okay? The technology of gene sequencing and analysis, in which how this could help you determine this predisposition para alam mo kung ano yung kakailanganin mong interventions and management to specifically and precisely manage your health. No? Yun yung tinatawag nating precision medicine or gene-based health management. So going back to our formula, okay, where L is your lifespan, A is your physical and lifestyle factors, B is your psychosocial and environmental factors, and C is your genetics. C being the constant, advantage na yan. Kung alam mo si C, no, then your A and B, which are the things na pwede mong gawa ng paraan. These are the things where interventions comes in. No, we're maximizing, we can do the maximizing, no, would determine X, which is our optimum health. Okay, so given your specific lifespan, halimbawa 100 yang 100 years ang specific lifespan mo, if you can maximize your A and B, no, C being constant, then we would be able to achieve your optimum health. Ang next question dyan is, paano natin i-maximize si A at si B? So those are the questions that this whole webinar course, starting this lecture and the succeeding lectures, that we aim to answer. No? Paano natin patataasin yung A at yung B? Of course, most of the time, we won't be able to get the 100% of your lifespan. Pero kung halimbawa 100 ang lifespan mo, it's better to achieve 80 years old than 50 years old. No? Just for example, if you know your C, for example, genetically you are predisposed to breast cancer, for example. You have the genes for breast cancer. Alam mo na yon, that is constant. That is in your genes. Ano yung pwede nating magawa with A, your physical and factors, and B, with your psychosocial and environmental factors, so that your C, your breast cancer gene, would not actually be manifesting. So instead of dying at the age of 50 because of breast cancer, you will die at age of 80, for example, because maybe you had COVID at the time. No. So this is how we approach. This is the new concept of health. Ang advantage natin, we have one factor, which is your C, your genetics, that is already known. Kaya na nating malaman. At yung natitirang two factors, your A and your B, are the things that we can do something about. These are the things that we can have interventions. No? That is specific, that is unique to every individual. So kung mapamaximize natin si A, mapamaximize natin si B, C is constant, you multiply that by your predetermined lifespan, so definitely we will achieve your optimum health. Kung ang health goals na isa-set nyo dun sa sinabi ko kanina, the 3 health goals, it's the number 3 or the third health goal, eto yon. That is actually the X. Okay? So, hindi naman masyadong mind-boggling ang ating mathematics. I just made it into a mathematical equation or formula so that it would be more simplified, no, sa dami ng factors that we actually have that determines our health status. So, among all the things that I have been mentioning since the start of this webinar, okay, basically, these are the approach. No, this is one way of teaching you on how to approach in maximizing your life. We start off with the health education. Health education meaning you gather the informations that you actually need, no, to be able to determine ano yung mga dapat mong gawin, ano yung gusto mong mangyari, ano yung mga dapat mong gawin to actually reach the goals that you have set. You need the informations. Nung nag-aaral tayo, before we come up with a paper, a term paper or a thesis, no? For example, a experimental paper, you need your researches to be able to come up with a good and a intelligent decision, no? So ganun din in approaching to maximizing life, in approaching to optimum health, you need the information. You just have to make sure that the information that you get is actually reputable. Okay? Next is the setting of health goals. So I have already taught you the 3 basic health goals, no? Kailangan i-set nyo yun kasi yun ang magdedetermine kung saan kayo papunta when it comes to health management, no? So sabi ko nga kanina, if you just content yourself to just survive, so you just have to eat well, exercise, and have a good sleep, iwas ka sa aksidente, iwas ka sa infection like the COVID-19, and you're good. No? But if you want to be more, to do more, and basically maximize your potential, then you set a different goal. You set the third health goal that I have mentioned. So yun. After being educated, next is you set the things that you want, no? Then you make your health plan. Dito sa health plan, if you are able to determine already the factors, the different health factors and health determinants that you need to achieve optimum health, doon mo makikita ngayon kung saan ba ako nagkukulang, alin ang mali, alin ang tama. For example, if you keep on eating vegetables because you know it is healthy, okay? For example, you eat a lot of carrots, okay? But if you do your health plan, you were able to check all the factors, yung ating mathematics, health mathematics, at nakita mo na you are genetically predisposed to lung cancer. No? Malalaman mo ngayon na those people who have the lung cancer genes are not supposed to take a lot of beta-carotene because it will trigger the lung cancer genes. So pag gumawa ka sa health plan, ilalagay mo na, since alam mong meron ka nun, no, meron kang risk nun, genetic risk nun, ilalagay mo ngayon sa health plan mo na, I have to minimize my consumption of beta-carotene para hindi lumabas or mag-manifest yung lung cancer gene ko. Okay? If you, for example, are predisposed, you have a family history of depression, for example, so ilalagay mo ngayon dun sa health plan mo na I have to work on my resilience para hindi ko basta-basta iindahin yung mga challenges, the changes and difficulties that I encounter because I am vulnerable to develop depression. Kasi alam mo na yung mga factors na yun. No? Going back to the formula, one factor could be determined. Sa dami ng mga factors that we have, your physical, your psychosocial, your environmental, your lifestyle, no, meron pang yung spiritual, economic, so lahat yan. Merong isang factor na kaya mong nang malaman, which is your genetics. So that is already our advantage. No? With that, then we could set and actually design your health plan. Na ito pala yung kailangan ko, ito yung kailangan kong i-monitor, ito yung kailangan kong iwasan, ito yung kailangan kong gawin. No? And then, of course, for every plan to actually succeed and for every goal to actually be achieved, you need to execute your plan. So you need to create programs that would guide you, assist you to execute your health plans, your individualized health plans. Para pag na-execute yon, you then are giving yourself the chance to achieve yung optimum health na tina-target natin. No? So without doing, especially the first step of your plan, no, sa plan execution, hindi pa rin natin makukuha yung optimum health. That's why it's part of the approach, a critical part of the approach is the plan execution. And once you have executed your plans, then of course you need to monitor. Monitoring is very essential. Bakit? Through monitoring, this would give us the hint if you are on the right track towards achieving your optimum health or not. Okay? This would guide us so we could sustain. If you have already achieved good health state, physical, mental, and social state, paano mo ngayon masusustain? Because that is a very variable aspect. Minsan, healthy ka, kinabukasan, bababa ang state of health mo. So, kailangan may monitoring ka to actually sustain. And if you be able to do this approach, then you can actually maximize your life. No? Mama-maximize mo all facets of your life, from your physical life, from your mental health, from your social health, from your roles, no, from your potentials, doon mo mama-maximize. No? So basically, this whole course, pag ma-obtain nyo on how to do this approach, there is a really, really big, good chance, no, that you would be able to achieve optimum health. Nasabi ko nga, yun ang kailangan natin at this time of the new normal. Okay. So, entering the new normal, a lot of famous people from the ancient times pa, no, are stating that the only constant in life is actually change, no? And nagustuhan ko yung sinabi ni Charles Darwin. If everybody's familiar with Charles Darwin, he was the one who theorized the evolution, no? Sabi niya, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, but the one most responsive to change. So, as an introduction, as basically a teaser to our July session, which is the psychosocial factors in the new normal, no, we target to be able to have the guidelines on how we can cope up and adapt to change. Kasi yun ang kailangan natin to be able to survive at this new normal, to be able to cope at this new normal. Kailangan matuto tayong lumaro sa pagbabago ng new normal. From the very basic of protecting ourselves from the COVID-19 to actually coming up with a good system in the society, for example, in your organization or in your company, kung paanong magandang sistema, protocols, no, to actually protect and make your workforce efficient for you. No? So that yung adaptation natin dun sa new normal would be very good. The outcome would be very good. No? Kasi ang perception natin ng change most of the time is actually inconvenience. Pangit. Nako, may new normal. Meron tayong bagong challenge. Hindi natin kabisado. So, nandun lahat yung fears, nandun lahat yung uncertainties. No? So, basically, our perception of change is actually negative. Pero, change is constant. From the time you were born, even the time that our ancestors were born, change is there. Laging may change. Nagkataon lang that we have a dramatic and significant change at this lifetime natin. No? It's not the end of the world that we have the pandemic. Ang kailangan lang natin malaman, paano ko sasayawan, no, yung tempo ng pandemic na to. How can I actually be efficient, be successful, be highly functional at this time of the new normal? So, giving you the current status, no, just to give you an overview, ano ba tong new normal na sinasabi ko, no? The status of the COVID-19 at the moment, aside from it being a pandemic, actually affecting more than 200 countries all over the world, no? And about 1/3 of the population is actually under quarantine right now. And I'm talking about global population, no? In the middle of this pandemic, wala pa rin tayong cure, no? Wala pa rin tayong vaccination. In the medical field, when we talk about the safety and the feeling of being safe against the COVID-19, magiging makakampante lang tayo once we already have the vaccination that could prevent us from contracting the disease. And once we have hard evidence medications to cure the disease, which at this time wala tayo. That is why everybody is adjusting, no, to the new guidelines. Bakit tayo naka-quarantine? Bakit tayo naka-physical distancing? Why do we need to wear the face mask? Why do we need to boost our immune system? Kasi yun lang ang pwede nating magawa as of this moment. No? If you were to ask me how long would this pandemic last, no? As of this time, wala tayong masasagot dyan how long. Just to give you an update, in terms of vaccination, there are 4 vaccines that are being tested at the moment, but they are still in the early phase of the clinical trials. There is one company targeting na hopefully daw at the last quarter of the year, matapos ang trials nila. But we still are not assured if the trials will be effective or not. No? Practically speaking, if we are to predict no, for us to come up with proper vaccination. Siguro baka mga next year pa yan, no? And in terms of medications, what we do in the hospital are not actually cures. They are supportive treatments. Yun lang. No? So wala pa rin. Lahat is under experimental stages as of this moment. So ganon yung status ng COVID-19. That is the reason why we do have the guidelines. No? Why we have the quarantine. Currently, we are in GCQ, or General Community Quarantine, which means that implementation of temporary measures, limiting movement and transportation, regulation of operating industries, and presence of uniformed personnel to enforce community quarantine protocol. This is according to IATF. No? So, just to give you an idea, ano ba yung mga ina-adjust natin ngayon na new normal? Under the General Community Quarantine, this is again according to the IATF, which was released last June 1, no, which is effective until today. No? So, ito yung mga pwede magawa. Of course, you have to wear your face mask. You have to observe a minimum of 1.5 meters physical distancing. We have our curfews, limited operations of malls, basically yung ating transport system or decreased capacity or reduced capacity, barbershops and hair salons started last June 7, minimum, subject to minimum health protocols. Sa dine-in hanggang 50% lang, though take-out and delivery is encouraged more than dine-in. In sports, ang only allowed are outdoor non-contact sports with, of course, observation of minimum health standards. Essential private and public constructions are now allowed. Okay. Yung mga hindi allowed are the following, with some exemptions. So in terms of age, those who are below 21 and 60 years old and above, or immunodeficient, with comorbids and pregnant are not allowed to go outside the house unless very, very necessary or with very valid reason. No hotels or similar establishments. We have no physical classes, no mass gatherings, and definitely not allowed are the amusements and leisure activities. No, so this is just to give you the basic new normal that we have to adjust to here in our country. Okay, and this new normal that we are adjusting to is bringing us high toxic levels of stress that actually impacts both the physical and the psychosocial factors of our health. I will be explaining all of this in details in our July session, but just to give you an overview, here is the physical impact of the new normal. Samples lang yan ng physical impacts of the new normal. This is brought about by the high levels of or toxic levels of stress that we are actually encountering right now. Especially na naka-quarantine, lalo na yung mga hindi pa nakakalabas ng bahay, those who are working from home, those who are experiencing some sort of anxieties and depression because of the pandemic. Physically, ito yung pwedeng mag-manifest. No? So kung titignan natin from head to foot, naaapektuhan. The new normal is actually impacting physically from head to foot. No? In terms of psychosocial impact, so the pictures on the left would show us the most common feelings, emotions that we encounter, especially during the quarantine. Kung prolonged ito, there is a high chance that we could develop mental disorders. That is usually nakikita yan from the 3rd to the 6th month, usually nagsa-start mag-emerge when you prolong this emotions and feelings na meron tayo. And socially speaking, once the physical aspect, the psychiatric or the psychological aspect is being affected, definitely the social dynamics would be affected as well. Kaya dito papasok yung relevance and significance of having an appropriate work-life balance. Especially a lot of us are working from the home. No? So imagine niyo how you could actually balance your working time and your personal time if you are within the bounds of one space, which is your house. No? Nandyan yung increased accessibility to the employees because alam ng company the employees are just at home. So instead of working 8 to 5, most often than not, na tatap yung ating mga workers beyond their working hours to do something work related. No? So yung mga bagay na yan, those are the things that we need to juggle, that we need to come up with a system to para ma-achieve natin yung work-life balance, especially with this new normal. That how can you balance your finances, your work, your financial stability with the limited work that the community have, no, with the economy going down, the demands of health, the demands of the personal demands and family demands goes higher because everybody's at home. No? So lahat yon. These factors we need to identify, we need to prioritize. No? On our July session, I will be teaching you on how to actually prioritize things, no, para hindi tayo na-overwhelm. Because we are entering the new normal, we are entering a dramatic change in our situation right now. Kailangan magbago din ng mga sistema. Okay? And that system has to be appropriate and has to be fitted to the type of people that you have, the type of organization that you have. So yan, yung changes natin in social dynamics. So hopefully on the July session, I would be able to give you some tips on how to come up with the changes in social dynamics, from the very basic of protecting your employees against the COVID-19, in case your employees would be reporting back to work, how they cope up if they are working from home, and some guidelines on how the company could create protocols, no, para maging adaptive yung bagong sistema natin, yung bagong social dynamics natin for the new normal. So on our July sessions, we are hoping to answer the following questions. Of course, you are very much welcome to submit your questions that you want to be answered for our July session. What are the changes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic and the so-called new normal? How do we cope up with it, both physically and as a system, no, doon sa ating organization? How do we protect ourselves, the practical way of protecting, the practical and effective way of protecting ourselves against the COVID-19. We have how to effectively adapt to these changes in the workplace, especially for those who are already reporting to work, and those who are working from home as well. And then how to achieve the work-life balance in this new normal that we have right now. And of course, the work from home tips that I'll be preparing for you. So with that, I hope I have opened a door for you in the manner that you look at your health, with the perceptions that you have your health. And I hope this whole webinar course would be able to guide you through it. And of course, we target that most of us, majority of us, if not all, would be able to achieve the optimum health that we long for. Okay, and with that, I would now be ready to accommodate the questions that you have.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Berries, for your very comprehensive presentation. At this point, we will open the Q&A portion of the webinar. We would like to thank our participants who sent their question in advance and those who have sent their questions through the chat box. Okay, so let's start the Q&A. Dr.
Yes.
Beris, this is the first question.
Yes, ma'am. We're ready.
Okay. How can we define age-related sicknesses or genetic health factors?
Okay. Thank you for the question. So basically, genetically speaking, these risk factors, these genetic diseases are already predetermined in our genes. No? So some of us would have those genes, no, yung mga disease na yon, and some of us will not have. So the key here is to identify if you have that or not. Did I answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah, actually, we're now going to the second question, Doctora.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. The second question is this: with no COVID vaccine yet in sight, what is the best supplementation to take to avoid getting infected with the virus?
In terms of supplementation, the best way is to boost your immune system. So sabi ko nga kanina, with regards to supplements, you need to refer to your doctor which supplements would be most appropriate for you. Example of immune boosting supplements are your vitamin C, your zinc, your vitamin D, your B6, okay? And then having a good diet, balanced diet, proper exercise, good quality sleep would also boost your immune system. And by evidence and by data, it was found that the flu vaccine, the pneumococcal vaccine, and the MMR vaccine could give you additional protection against the COVID-19. So I have to clarify this. These three types of vaccines are not anti-COVID vaccines. So they are not assurance that you will not have the COVID-19, but they add protection. So according to the different medical societies, yung protection niya para kang nag-additional face mask. No? So if you, well, for the different companies here, present here, it's, I would recommend for you to have immunization program at this time, specifically for flu, the quadrivalent flu, the pneumococcal vaccine. There are different types of pneumococcal vaccine, but we recommend the PPSV23. That is the lifetime coverage vaccine, pneumococcal vaccine, and then the MMR. Yung MMR, it's usually given for children. So kung napapabakunahan kayo, yung mga employees nyo, when you were young in the center or through your pedia, most probably you already have your MMR. So for those participants here who have small children, then make sure that they also have the MMR. So pag meron ka nitong tatlong vaccines na to, para kang nagdagdag ng face mask as a protection against COVID-19.
Thank you, Doctora. The next question, actually, I have two questions related to the workplace. No? The first question is, there is no more work-life balance for employees under work-from-home arrangements. How do we manage work-from-home burnout?
So basically, ang dilemma kasi dito is the space where you are working. So the space where you are working and the space where you are living is actually the same. So it is important that you establish the delineation between your personal space and your office space. No? Actually, kasama yan sa ating July session. Kasama yan sa mga tips natin, no, on how to delineate your working space and your personal space. Nandyan yung sticking the discipline and respecting the discipline of schedule. Because I mentioned nga kanina, no, the problem with the work from home arrangement, alam ng company na ka lang sa bahay at alam ng company ang contact number mo. So the company could actually access the employees. Minsan nakakalimutan na, oops, hindi na working hours. So kailangan merong ganong vigilance both in the side of the company and side of the employees. Yung vigilance to sticking to the working schedule unless it is very, very urgent. So kasama yan sa pag-uusapan natin for July, how to prioritize. No, yung prioritizing, we do have a prioritizing model to discuss in July. So yung mga ganon, even yung setting the mindset, na okay, I'm at work now, I'm in my personal time now, even yung pagbibihis natin, no, kahit na nasa loob ka ng bahay, if it's your work time, it's good for you to actually dress up working clothes, no, if you're working, para mabigyan mo yung mindset yung sarili mo na, okay, I'm working, I'm not in my personal time. So yung ganon, we will be discussing that in full details this month.
Thank you, Doctora. The next question is, how should companies proactively manage a seemingly higher incidence of employee anxiety and depression during this COVID-19 pandemic?
I suggest it could consist of yung 24/7 services, no, yung mga psychiatric help. Merong mga services that you can actually enroll to, no, para maging available sa mga employees nyo. Nandyan din yung ating mga health education on mental health awareness, which is, by the way, part of this webinar course. So you can actually ask your employees to watch and to take this whole webinar course ng responsive, no? Kasi kasama yun. Plus of course, nandyan yung very important to let your employees feel, no, that the company is behind them. Kasi as of now, by experience, no, especially do sa mga patients that I encounter who goes counseling with me, isa sa pinaka-common at pinakamalaking dilemma nila is the support of the company with regards to the situation. So pag naramdaman ng empleyado na ang kumpanya is actually supportive in taking care of them, no, both physically and mentally, nababawas yung stress in that manner. No? So pag nag-create kayo ng mental health program for your employees, I suggest those components that I mentioned, i-include nyo.
Okay, thank you, Doctora. The next question is actually related to the workplace again. Huh? So what are the worst case scenarios are you expecting in the workplace if this pandemic continues up to next year?
Yung mga worst scenarios that I am actually thinking, no, sa ganyang sitwasyon, una is the decrease in operations, of course. Yung decrease in operations would basically impact the stability of the company and how the company would sustain the employees as well. No, so I think this is the best time to become more innovative in terms of operations. Pangalawa is yung sense of security and safety of the employees, especially kung magre-report sila sa workplace na, no? Kasi maraming kumpanya na we would focus on the operations lang, tapos nakakalimutan yung yung welfare ng employees. Just for example, I of course won't mention this company, no? One company has consulted me na yung isang project site nila, since may cohabitation arrangement because it's a construction firm, no? May cohabitation arrangement, nag-positive yung isa sa test, no? So nag-positive yung isa, so definitely naka-quarantine lahat ng manpower nila on that project site and then isolated yung nag-positive, tapos iniinda nila ngayon yung gastos, no? In that manner, if they have constructed a very good protocol, safety protocol, no, against the COVID-19 prior na ipa-report yung mga employees doon sa barracks nila, then sana walang nag-positive at walang magkakahawahan. No? So ang point ko dito, kailangan meron kayong strong and sufficient protocol, safety and health protocol against the COVID-19. Kung kailangan gastusan nyo yung para gumawa ng barriers, para magpa-sanitize, para magpa-test, no? Lahat para to make sure na everybody is safe in the workplace, gastusan nyo na ngayon. Kasi mas malaki yung gastos pag pumasok yung COVID-19 within the organization. And yung kumpiyansa ng mga employees na negative or COVID-free yung company versus the company has at least one case of COVID-19. So kailangan maayos yun. Ayusin nyo na muna yun. Because the worst case scenario, ang manpower nyo babagsak, tataas ang cost, at the same time, the productivity of your employees would definitely and significantly go down pag hindi maayos ang protocol nyo.
Thank you, Doctora. Another question is, from a doctor's perspective, how can people stay healthy in a holistic way if there are too many pandemic quarantine limitations?
Okay. Sabi nga natin, pag sinabi nating holistic, it goes beyond the physical health, diba? So, of course, primarily, you have to take care of your physical health through exercise, diet, sleep, no? Your physical protection. Tapos, you take care of your mental health, no? By having or developing some abilities that you need to sustain the mental health. Tapos, ito yung best time to actually check for untapped resources. No? Kasi usually tayo, nafi-fixate tayo kung ano yung kadalasang ginagamit nating sistema. Na okay, para maging healthy ako, I have to go to the gym. Just for example, no, mag-exercise ako, I have to go to the gym. At this time of the pandemic, gyms are not allowed to operate. So paano kung mag-exercise? So tap your untapped resources. Okay, ano bang merong space sa bahay na pwede kong gawin that I could actually exercise without going to the gym? No? We are being subdued to physical distancing. Yes, tama yun, may physical distance tayo, but it doesn't mean that we distance ourselves socially din. No? So since hindi kami pwedeng magkita-kita ng mga kaibigan ko or ng support system ko, hindi kami pwedeng physically magkita, how can I actually socialize with them with considering the physical distance that we have? So itap nyo yung resource na yun. No? So basically, we need to be creative, we need to be innovative at this time. Pero it doesn't mean that we have the pandemic na wala nang choice or wala nang hopeless na. No? So kindly erase that that idea in your mind na hopeless, na hindi na pwede. Pwede, laging may paraan. No? So lagi ko nga sinasabi sa mga tao sa paligid ko, pag gusto mo may paraan, pag ayaw mo may dahilan. That is actually true. So you just have to exert that extra effort to find the way, no, to sustain that optimum health na gusto natin, even in the midst of a pandemic. Don't worry, throughout the webinar series, I will be giving tips, the do's and don'ts every now and then regarding this.
Okay, thank you, Doctora. So due to time constraints, we will ask the last question for Doctora Berry. So this is the final question that we received. What is your advice to parents on how to handle their young children who are at most risk during this pandemic? Doctora.
Let your children realize the importance of health, no? Habang bata, i-inculcate nyo na sa kanila na you have to prioritize health by providing them good nutrition, immunizations. So, kailangan makita nila na pinaprioritize niyo yung health. At the same time, make sure every now and then you talk to your kids, no, to check on their mental state. Sabi ko nga, hindi porke bata, hindi necessarily na wala silang possibility to have a mental disorder. Posible pa rin. So every now and then you have to talk to your kids to check on them. Spend quality time. Lalo na at the time na very confusing ang sistema ng society ngayon. It is very important that you spend quality time with your kids, no? Para ma-feel nila yung entering the new normal, no? Medyo makukusyon sa kanila. Hindi sila ganun mahihirapan. Kasi as early as this time, pinaprime nyo na sila on how to actually adapt to the new normal. No? At the same time, very practical, very simple though very practical way to protect your kids. Limit them sa use ng gadgets because it actually affects the immune system. It makes them hyperactive and it actually has a bad impact on the psychiatric condition of children. So you limit them. What is recommended by the neurodevelopmental doctors is just 2 hours in a day, na continuous. So kung kaya nyong ilimit nyo. Kasi ganun din, be holistic rin in the approach from the health ng physical, yung mental, pati yung social. It's also the best time for you to play with them, no? Imbis na na-expose sila with their gadgets, try to teach them the old style na mga laro natin, no? Para may physical activity na rin. At the same time, it's a good social dynamics for kids. Involve them in helping other people, in thinking on how to help other people by not, without exposing them physically to other people. Tapos very strict, don't let them go out of the house, of course.
Okay. Actually, that ends our question and answer segment.
Okay,
If
so
our participants, you can have your final remarks, Dr.
yes, Ma'am Aida. So, sabi ko nga, this is a first of a series of webinar. This is a whole webinar course on Optimum Health, no? Primarily, I would like to thank everyone for actually listening. I hope that you did learn some things. Introduction pa lang to, no? Tong session natin na to, introduction pa lang to. I just opened the door for more learnings. So I hope I will be seeing everyone on our succeeding webinars, and let us journey through this new normal with harmony, with smoothness, no, and able to achieve optimum health despite the challenges. So again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Doctora. If our participants have other questions that were not tackled today, you may send them to Responsive via email, text, or through our social media accounts. At this point, may I call again our President, Ms. Tess Rodriguez, to update you on the next webinars that Responsive will offer during the next months. Tess?
Thank you very much, Miss Aida. Just like what Miss or Dr. Berry said, I cannot overemphasize the importance of health and wellness. This is really an advocacy, not just of Responsive, but my personal advocacy. This course, we wanted in the beginning to just come up with one webinar as our way to thank our business partners, but we said we need something that the people could really rely on as far as information all throughout this situation we're in. We're now under the new normal. And I would like to personally urge everyone to please join us again in our upcoming webinars. And for the months of July and August, we are going to discuss the topic, the psychosocial factor, me and the new normal. So we will be posting, or we will be sending you emails again for the specific dates. And we hope that you can invite also your other coworkers, although our seats are limited. But then again, we will do everything to accommodate all those who are just like us, value the importance of health and wellness. Thank you for spending your time with us. We appreciate your presence. And I would like to end by saying you just always keep safe and healthy. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tess. So ladies and gentlemen, we will formally end our webinar now. Thank you everyone for creating time to attend this event with us. We hope to see you in our succeeding webinars. If you wish to watch the recorded version of this event, we will announce when you can download it from the corporate website of Responsive. Thank you and good afternoon.
Responsive Health and Insurance Brokers. Responsive has been operating as an insurance broker for the last 20 years, since its establishment in 1999. We take pride in our employees' expertise and loyalty, which makes Responsive to what it is today. Responsive powers your business, powers your people. The difference between respond and react is as different as night and day. Responsive believes in preparing for the future, ensuring that when emergencies arise, our clients are ready and protected, and able to move forward with security and confidence. This is the guiding principle of Responsive's president and chairman, Ms. Tess Rodriguez, a pioneer in the HMO and health insurance industry. Responsive provides expert advice and administrative support for your employee benefits and tailor-fit your programs within your budget. Responsive is recognized for its various service offerings in both medical and non-medical services. We assure our business partners excellent and comprehensive representation with service providers in all aspects of research, evaluation, and negotiation. With over 20 years in the industry, we have built a strong network of service providers to look for viable solutions for your insurance and health plan needs. Responsive support your employee retention strategy. We offer comprehensive employee benefits packages to attract and retain the most important assets of any organization, your employees. We work with a wide network of HMO and group medical plan providers to protect your employees from various health risks. Our health programs enable your employees to be productive. We collaborate with you to protect your business from any type of risk, whether man-made risk or natural calamities. We will help you find insurance solutions so your business is ready for any emergency. We provide expert customer and administrative services to our business partners, including our pioneering efforts to provide comprehensive benefit management reports, information videos, and lifestyle feeds. Responsive's health and wellness advocacy is enshrined in its culture of providing the best health plans for its clients. Bespoke Wellness Providers, a fully owned subsidiary of Responsive, aims to provide proactive wellness programs to the employees. We innovate to provide you more time to manage your core business. We are automating our core processes through the client portal. With an average of 99% client retention rate over the last 10 years, Responsive takes pride in providing consistent quality services to our clients across all industries. We are committed to provide our services and find proactive solutions to your business requirements. Responsive Health Insurance Brokers is here to support your business. Contact us anytime. Our main office is located at 14